these are the 9 steps that will help you master detachment and win at life every time. This is Pat's platform, and let's get started. Step number 1, give yourself permission to stop giving a fudge. So back in August of 2023, I was in the process of rebuilding my inner identity. So what I would do is take myself to northern beaches in Sydney on a regular basis. And it happens to be this one day where I discovered this bus line by accident that took me to South Curl. It was a new beach that I discovered at the time. And I also bought a new set of bikinis that I really loved. And it happens that I was curious of what it would look like if I filmed myself doing the workout in that bikini. And I absolutely loved the 30-second clips that I made that day. And at first, I made those 30-second clips for fun. But then I came home that night and asked myself, what if this could be my full-time career? What if I could get paid for working out at the beach around the world? It was just one seed of idea that sparked this motivation within me to make this a 100% commitment. And since August of 2023 till December of 2023, there I saw 130-second clips in my YouTube account set on private. Every single time I looked at this engine, I felt really proud of myself because I didn't give a fudge about how people would see me if I said no to not doing any more things I don't want to do, so that I can put all the time and energy to work on my true purpose. The importance of coming back to your truest essence cannot be stressed enough. If you hold on to people's perception of you, you will now be attached to external validation, and that will dim your power and hinder you from realizing your truest potential. Step number 2, acknowledge that your feelings are valid. In the process of detaching to outcomes, there will be a lot of old stories that replay, and those old stories come with feelings like resentment, guilt, shame, embarrassment, or even this feeling of what if I could have gone back and did things differently. Instead of suppressing those feelings and being like, actually I have to be positive now, I want you to really expose yourself to all the fearful emotions that you face and accept that it's okay to have those emotions. The minute that I accepted that it was okay to really feel this way towards a certain situation, and it's not about being childish or being immature, but it's just about accepting that this is a part of you that needs some love, the more it is easier for you to really let go and detach. Back then, I used to look out into my reality and be like, why aren't people changing for me? And the simple answer is because I was holding on to the old energy, the old beliefs, the old way of doing things, and the old vibrations in the midst of trying to create new disciplines on the surface. While it's so good to create new disciplines and new habits, you also have to accept that if there are old things that want to come out and flush itself out, it's okay to accept these old things and lovingly let it go. The minute that you can accept every single part of you, the easier it is to be neutralized and detached from how things should turn out. Step number 3, accept that some things may never change even when you do. In 2023, I could say that it was the most intentional year I've ever had. I planned from day 1 of January that I was going to be a very good girl, delivering exceptional work, putting in 10 out of 10 effort in everything that I was doing. And the only thing I got in return every time I invested so much effort is a well done and thank you. But never the money, the abundance, the lifestyle, or the freedom I truly wanted. Because I was so attached to how people need to change according to how I have changed, that things just seem to go on repeat for quite a few months. Now, the most effective way I found from detaching from the overall situation is to stop engaging with it. So what I literally did by December of 2023 was uninstall WhatsApp. When I uninstalled WhatsApp, I'm not able to go and check any more group conversations or messages. So what you would do when you disengage is that you will start to form new habits, new way of thinking, new way of seeing things. You start to normalize feeling like you are in harmony with the universe and you're allowing things to flow to you more. Even if this society, this workplace, this friend group, or anything never evolves with you, it does not hinder you from being your truest self. And because your energy is now magnetic and allowing, anything that you used to want can effortlessly flow back into your life. And you have the option to choose whether you still want to engage with it or not. Step number 4. Be okay exactly for who and where you are today. The thing with inner insecurities is that it's really hard to see that we are the ones creating the problem until we step out of it fully. And when I'm saying disengage from the problem, I'm saying that just take a break from the fact that you are the situation and actually come out and observe it in a very neutral state. And you'll realize that you are not your insecurities and you are not your perceived failures. Meaning that if you are unemployed, if you don't have income, if you haven't achieved your MBA, if you just broke up, or you're not meeting some sort of societal expectations of you within a certain time frame, it doesn't define your value as a person. But when you're in this circumstance and you have friends, family, social construct, and all these things to influence why you are not as competent or not as mature or growing up as others, it's so hard to see that you are just as valuable as that person who just bought their properties or got married. And I want you to really embrace this belief that no matter what your LinkedIn, your Instagram, or your social media looks like, no matter what your resume, your accolades, or your list of achievements look like, you are not any less worthier than somebody that has more external things than you. When you cultivate the belief that I am solid in my own being, and you're committing also to high value habits that are congruent to the exact version of you that you want to be, you are actually so much more powerful than dimming your own lights, dimming your own potentials to follow a social construct. Step 5. Embrace those fearful emotions when you feel lost. Now, the thing with fearful emotions is that the more you suppress the anxiety, the stress, or the accumulation of bottled up emotions, the harder it is for you to release it later on. An example of this is back in December of 2023. I had a very bad cough for 2 weeks, and interestingly, by the 3rd of January, when I was fully recovered, I literally asked myself, why did you need 3 weeks to literally lie down, heal, not do much, do some moderate workout, do a bit of video editing, but not really do anything crazy like during August, September, October, or November? And the reason is because during those 4 months leading up to December, I was really suppressing a lot of stress. And in between, during October, I also have this position within a not-for-profit organization where I had to hold an area contest. And with this kind of contest, I had to build relationships with people of different age, from different clubs, and with a lot more experience in that organization than me. And there was also this doubt within me of whether I can really successfully gather people together to make this contest work. So this uncertainty towards the contest, coupled with me trying to figure out how to edit properly, how to film properly, how to manage my energy, while just having about $70 cash each time I go out. It was quite intense at the time. So there was a lot of desperation of, oh, if only I had more money. If only I lived closer to the CBD. If only this, if only that. If I ever felt insecurity or doubt, I would immediately be like, oh, I can't feel this way, otherwise I'm going to mess up everything. The minute that I start suppressing my emotions, yes, of course, the contest ran successfully. I was able to impress many people. I was able to get to 100 video edits by December, as I promised myself that I would. But in return, my mind and body crashed and I was forced to just kind of lie down and rest and not do much, which I absolutely enjoyed, but wish I didn't have to go through that period in December. So my main point is, the minute you start to feel knots in your stomach, you must address that feeling. And even if you have some negative inner dialogue come up along with the discomfort in your body, you have to embrace the fear behind these thoughts. You have to accept that it's okay to actually think these thoughts, and you're not actually a victim all the time. It's all about letting go of the old story by accepting that it's no longer a part of you. That's why it's okay for you to see it for as it is and just accept that it's still there, then let it go lovingly, and then be naturally detached without forcing the detachment in itself. Step 6. Focus on coming back to your truest essence. For example, in my previous video, the social construct for an Asian woman like myself is to get a 9-to-5 job or wear a suit for my career and talk about, professional things. And that would make me look more expensive and look good. However, in my truest divine essence, I love to wear a bikini and be near the ocean water. The way the people in my immediate environment would perceive me wearing a bikini and shooting myself near the ocean water, being half naked, is that it's cheap. It doesn't look good. It's not going to help me thrive in my career. That's a social construct. That doesn't have to be the truth for you. When I was wearing a suit to talk about positive motivations and inspirations, I felt good to an extent, but it wasn't my truest divine essence. Therefore, I didn't feel the most empowered. I still felt like a people pleaser, and in a way that didn't help me create the life that I truly wanted, nor the money that I truly wanted. And that's why it's so important for you to get to know yourself and what your truest essence is. At the end of the day, I loved working out. I loved working on my inner energy. I loved being near the beach. And when I made the decision to make that my reality, the more powerful I started to feel within my body, the more confidence I had in communicating with people in my real life. And that's where you want to be at. You want to be at a place where you're authentically yourself, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to actually embrace those insecurities so that you can connect more with people. Because if you are not embracing your truest essence, everything will be about concealing, and you will always strive to look a certain way to please certain people. So how are you supposed to be detached when you're feeling disempowered? So you cannot really control what they say. But in your infinite reality, you are not experiencing any more doubts or insecurities along with them. You will start to really see life in a completely new light, that there is so much for you to achieve effortlessly, and there is so much potential that you can always tap into when you are ready to embrace your truest self. Step 7. Go all in with your commitment to self-love practices. Now, I've stated in the previous video that there is a major difference between self-love practice and committing to external success practice. As a young kid, we are taught that we have to study very hard to get good grades. That is commitment to an external success. And then we normalize doing functional work for 6 to 8 hours a day. We carry this into our adulthood where we are now working on our actual career. However, I believe that the core of our performance comes from our state of being. And the more we improve our state of being, the better our external work is. And the more better our external work is, the higher our chances of earning more money and manifesting effortless success along with it. The thing is that as a kid, we were never taught that prioritizing self-love is so much more important than prioritizing A grades. In order for you to be detached and operate in a place where everything is okay, it's so important that you go all in with improving your inner state, improving how you see yourself and your relationship to yourself. So what I would do is, yes, commit to the external success, but I would also commit to listening to self-love affirmation tracks every single day. And the self-love affirmation tracks by Lavender, the basic things that she says, like, I accept my body for how it is. I am radiant, I am glowing, I am creating my dream life, I have the power to change my story. These simple statements, yes, our brain knows it already. However, it's not about what you know, but it's about what state you're cultivating. And the more I was normalizing things like, I love my body, all of me is beautiful, the more this was my normal internal dialogue, the more things were changing externally. So instead of me having to go on a fasting diet, I was naturally losing weight out of nowhere. I started to crave less sugar. I didn't feel attracted to junk food anymore. My priority was to work on my videos. So therefore, making mini sacrifices like eating healthier, doing a bit more workout, and not allowing myself to go through that sluggish routine, all these things became effortless rather than forced, only because I was so committed to the self-love practices. And the ironic thing is that detachment becomes so much more easier when you feel whole within yourself. Step 8, celebrate all of your personal milestones, better yet, privately. And the reason why I emphasize private is because most people who don't stick their body or consciousness or mind with you 24/7 are never going to know what you experience on a moment-to-moment basis. Although they can relate when you express how you feel, they don't know the whole story usually. And that's why when you celebrate privately, it's like you're giving yourself those extra moments of love, those extra moments of self-boost that if I can't get it from that person right now, I can always give it to me. And you're communicating with yourself that love is so abundant and accessible because you are capable of giving yourself the validation and the celebration that you need all the time. There are so many instances where I've already walked all day the previous day, doing beach clips, doing push-ups on the sand, doing all these hard tricks, then giving myself excuses the next 1 or 2 days that my body is so tired. But when I can shift my mind to be like, okay, I understand that you're tired, so let's do a workout that stretches your body rather than intense cardio. I feel very proud of myself that it's not all about achieving a very high target all the time and then neglecting the small self-love practices, but it's actually about trying your best to show up even when you're not feeling at your 100%. The more self-boost you give to yourself, the more it doesn't matter if anybody else says well done or hooray to you. It's so fragile to always wait for a person outside of you to give you that mini celebration. When you yourself, you have the permission to give yourself that inner celebration any day and any minute that you want to. The more you are able to celebrate your personal milestones and really acknowledge all the minor shifts, the minor positive shifts that you've made, the easier it is for you to achieve bigger results because you have more positive energy, you have more hope and more inspiration to fuel you to do bigger things. And finally, step number 9, never go back to prove or flex your progress to anyone. Now, this was a habit that I've always held on to during my 20s, that the minute I start to glow up, that's when I would go back to Instagram or WhatsApp and start to flex about, oh, look at me now, I lost so much weight, I got so much more toner, look at my bikini bod, I'm doing so well. And although nothing really happens a lot during the first, let's just say 30 days, but if you keep up that habit, you're actually going to spiral back down to where you started. And that happened to me so many times. There was a period in 2022 where I started living in Bondi by myself for a bit, and my body was changing because I was swimming a lot and I was walking so much, and my internal dialogues and self-confidence was changing when I was no longer confined to just one type of environment. And everything was going so well because I wasn't updating my Instagram stories. Nobody knew what I was doing with my life, so I felt free to go anywhere that I wanted without having to snap the Insta story and worry about who's going to view my story. But after 4 months, I started to feel like, you know what? I wanted to document this on my Instagram. I want to flex to people that I'm doing so well and I'm a new Patty. And I remembered very soon that things just kind of backfired. I've had people literally say to me that it's not really appropriate how you pose in a bikini and put it onto Facebook like that, when my intention was to celebrate my progress while having people externally see that progress. And that's the difference, is that you have the permission to celebrate how hot and how glowing you look all the time, but it doesn't mean that other people are going to celebrate that win with you. I want to stress that the most important thing is your positive momentum. That every day, the energy of you feeling motivated to do that 30 minutes of Pilates or yoga without snapping a story about it. And if you want to capture aspects of it for your Instagram or Facebook, for your career, that is fine. But you don't want to capture it when you're still in the process or feeling vulnerable or not fully solidified in your new identity. So in order for you to protect your energy and set that sacred boundaries, try to keep things private and a personal relationship, a personal connection with yourself first. I guarantee that if you're able to commit to this self-love practice, to your internal evolution, and let go of every single attachment to external outcomes, you are going to live not just in a much more profound way, but you'll also effortlessly manifest the material progresses, the material successes that you want without feeling like you need to have it to define your self-worth. This is Pat's Platform, and thank you for watching. If you like the video, feel free to subscribe, and I'm hoping to see you on this journey again. Bye-bye.